Hey honey, welcome to my channel Design by Eide. My name is Teresa. I'm a professional fashion designer here to share all my secret tips and tricks with you. So today I want to talk to you about designing bestsellers. Designing the clothes that everybody wants, the clothes that just fly out of the stores, and designing really great numbers for your boss or the brand you're designing for, right? Because they hire you to design really amazing garments that sell like crazy, right? That's your job. So how do you do that? Well, there are a few things you need to take into consideration, and you need to make the right choices. Also, you need to be a good designer, but that's a given. You're already awesome, right? So, okay, first thing I always do is start by doing research. If I am designing something for a brand, like maybe I'm designing a kids wear collection for a brand, then I would look into the brand identity and what the customers expect. So if your brand is all about neutral colors and loose fit and very stretchy, soft fabrics, then I would have to know that so that I design things that the customers want, and I would anticipate what they expect and what they long for next season, right? So I would go into the price points. That's very important, because if you think that you can just choose whatever fabrics and trimmings and techniques you want, you're delusional. You need to hit the mark in terms of price, in terms of quality, in terms of the performances of the garment. You know, if it's a sportswear garment, the customers expect it to be stretchy and to be strong enough to endure hiking or whatever sport it is. And so you need to do your research first. Know what the brand is all about. Know what the customers want, what they expect, what they love, and what they hate. So when you're designing for a brand or you're starting a new collection, your boss may present you with some sales numbers. And the numbers are just numbers. They're not really telling you why something sold super well and why something didn't sell at all. Because the numbers can't tell you that the waist of those pants were just too tight, or the hood was way too big, or, you know, the numbers are just numbers. So the best thing you can do is talk to the customers or talk to the sales team or the people in the stores. You want to know what the customers are saying. What do they love about the current collection? What do they hate? What are they missing? What are the other brands doing right now? Like, what does, say you're designing a kids wear collection, what are the other kids wear brands doing right now? And maybe they have like a new garment or a new fabric that's selling really, really well, and you want to pay attention to that and maybe bring that into this collection for next season, right? So that's something. Research first. Research the brand, talk to the customers, find out what they expect from the brand you're designing for so that you can answer all of their needs and wishes, okay? That's the number one. Second thing you need to do is pay attention to the trends. So I have a whole video on trend spotting and finding inspiration for new collections, so you can check that out here. But more importantly, just know the right colors for the season you're designing for. Usually I design things that hit the stores next year. So what I'm designing now hits the stores a year from now, and I need to know the colors and the trends that are happening a year from now. Colors can make or break your designs. And colors can be tricky because, like I said, you need to research the brand you're designing for. You need to know what the customers expect. You need to know what that brand is known for. Is that brand known for like very neutral, green, beige, natural colors? Or is the brand known for very saturated, bright colors? You need to keep that in mind. And also you need to keep in mind what the new trends are. What are the new colors coming out next year? And you need to fuse those together so that you stay in line with what's hot for the season and also stay in line with what's right for the brand you're designing for. Now, that doesn't mean you can't change it a little bit. Okay, so I've been designing a lot of sportswear. And one season I was hired to do an entire sportswear collection for a new brand. So basically it was a new brand, it hadn't existed before. So I was kind of starting fresh, didn't have to consider what they were known for or anything. I could just like set the tone with my collection because that was like the first collection for the brand. And I was so sick and tired of the super saturated sportswear that I was seeing in the stores. And I was just, you know, the pink jackets with the blue zipper or the red jackets with the green zipper, or, you know, like these solid colored bright jackets with contrast color zippers. Ugh, like I was just so sick of that. And I would never, ever, ever go into the store and spend my money on that because I was so bored of that. I've seen it everywhere and it's not what I want. I already have 1,000 jackets like that. That's not what I want next year. So I started thinking, okay, what do I want next year? Let's say I already bought the solid color, bright colored jackets this year. What do I want my jacket to look like next year? Maybe I want something completely different. Maybe I want it to be more neutral or more just, maybe I want pastel colors, you know, softer colors, not like the big contrasts, but maybe like smaller little pops of color, but not super bright. And so I went with my gut feeling and I changed the entire color palette for designing the collection for this new brand. Now, the people I was designing for, they were a little bit scared, a little bit worried, because it wasn't the sportswear collection they were used to seeing. And they were scared that it wasn't going to sell and perform as well as they had hoped. But it did, because people were, just like me, sick and tired of the super bright colors and the solid colored clothes with the contrast zippers. They wanted something new and fresh. So when I presented them with like some new color combinations, some new fabrics, some new seams, and like I designed a new way of putting the hood together and things like this, it was fresh, it was new, and people were willing and eager to spend their money on it. And so they became bestsellers. And that's the key. You want something fresh. So many brands that I've designed for, they make a big mistake. They look at the numbers and they say, oh, okay, so this was the bestseller this season, so let's just play it safe. Let's just do the same thing next season. Big mistake. Because the customers doesn't want to buy the same thing twice. Okay, so if the red jacket sold really, really well this season, customers aren't going to buy the same jacket in the same color next season. They want something new. They want something fresh. So always be ready to change. Always be ready to look for new impulses, new trends, and move your brand in that direction. And you will have to fight sometimes because, like I said, some brands want to play it safe, as they say, even though it's not safe. It's very stupid, but you need to explain that to them and teach them that they have to move forward. Otherwise, they will just drown. Okay? Keep moving. Always. Okay? So, one thing you need to consider is price points. The brand you're designing for has certain price points that the customers expect. So if it's a very cheap brand, you can't go crazy and choose the most expensive fabrics and the most expensive zippers and trimmings, because you have to reach the price points your customers expect from you. So then you have to do your very best and find really great fabrics at a low price. So you're gonna have to compromise, but that's part of the job. Also, be prepared to make changes. So many times I have designed something and I feel so good about it because the drawings, my designs, they look so good on my screen and on the printouts. So good, so happy, like yes. And then the samples come and I'm like, wow, that was not as nice as I had hoped. And that can happen. Sometimes something that you didn't really think was going to be amazing because the drawing was kind of boring can turn out to be a really beautiful garment. And you can't really understand that until you get the sample. And it goes both ways. Sometimes the designs you're really excited about don't look very nice when you get the samples. Now, I'm not talking about horrible first proto samples because they're usually always ugly. But when you go through the sample process and you get the sales samples and they still, no, they just don't look right. Sometimes it's the colors that don't really work together. They look great on the sketch, but in real life, don't really work. Or sometimes it's the seams or the fit, or you have a really great idea, but it doesn't really turn out that great in real life. Okay, so be prepared for that. You can always change things. Okay, so what else do you have to think about when you're going to design bestsellers? So we talked about color. Color is very important because if you have the right color for the season, it's gonna sell like crazy. If you have the wrong color, it's not gonna sell at all. So knowing what colors are trending and what colors are right for the brand you're designing for, super important. And we talked about price. You have to hit the right price points, the price points that your customers expect from you, and that's right for the brand you're designing for, okay? So what that means is that you need to listen to your instincts and what your cravings are. If you're super sick of something, you have seen it everywhere in all the stores and everyone is doing the same thing and it's just, you just are so sick of it. Most likely, a lot of other people are sick of it too. And if you're really longing for something, let's say there's like a TV series that's very popular and everyone is watching that, and you start to crave clothes that they wear on screen, right? So you see all the classy women wearing trench coats and you're like, ooh, I want to have an amazing trench coat. But none of the brands, none of the stores have that kind of amazing trench coats. That's a good tip for you. That's something that you can design that the other brands haven't designed yet. So always keep an eye out for the things that you're craving, the things that you're looking for yourself. That's a good tip, that's a trend coming in and you can design what you're craving. And another thing is just to look out for the things that you're super tired of looking at. Just the things that you really do not want to spend your money on, because most likely others don't want to spend their money on it either. So if you want to design bestsellers, you have to design something that you would be willing to go into a store and spend your money on, because that's your best bet. If you want to buy it, probably a lot of others want to buy it as well, hopefully. So whenever I'm designing something, I start with 3 things: colors, price, and fabric. So we talked about colors, we talked about price. What about fabrics? Sometimes the fabrics are a given. Maybe you're designing a jean collection, a denim collection, and you're working for Levi's or something. Then denim is what you're working with. But there are so many different weights, different qualities, and some denim is very sturdy and like strong and can last for a long time, and some denim is very soft and very stretchy and super comfortable. It's like wearing sweatpants. It's the same thing for other fabrics. The small differences can make a person buy it or not. So when I was designing a lot of sportswear, I would spend hours with the fabric suppliers and I would sit like this and touch the fabric. Next, touch it. Next, touch it. Next. Because the touch, the sound, the stretch mattered so much. And that was like my first choice. If it looks nice and does it feel comfortable Does it make a lot of sound? How is it when I scratch? Does it okay, for a lot of knitted fabrics, they have pilling problems. What that means is they snag easily and they can just look horrible after a very short period of wearing and washing, okay? You do not want that. You want to choose fabrics that are durable and that will look nice for a long time. So for the fabrics, what do you look for? You look for the qualities of the fabric. Are you designing clothes that are going to be super comfortable? Maybe it's not sweatpants, but you want them to be as comfortable and soft and lightweight as sweatpants. Then you will choose fabrics. You will sit like this and touch the different fabrics and find one that is as soft and as comfortable as you want it. Okay, so that's like the touch. You also want the fabric to look the part. So if you're, and sometimes you want to be tricky. Maybe you're actually basically designing sweatpants, but you're using a very classy fabric. So you can the pants can look very classy and you can wear them to the office, but they're super comfortable like sweatpants, right? So you can play around with that. And you want the fabrics to have good color fastness. What that means. By that, I mean you want the color of the fabric to stay for a long time. You don't want someone to buy a sweater or pants or something that you've designed, and then after just a short period of wearing and washing, the color is almost gone. You do not want that. It's going to give you a bad reputation. Your customer is not going to be happy. So you want, and especially if you're doing bright colors, if you're doing a worn beige or army green t-shirt that's kind of worn and almost faded, then people won't mind if the color fades more. It's kind of like a cool thing. It's like jeans. Jeans look better when you wear them for a while, right? So that's fine. But if you're doing a very saturated garment, very bright red, bright orange, then you want it to stay bright red and bright orange for a long time and not fade easily. Okay, so you will pay attention to that and you will ask your fabric supplier, what's the color fastness here? And if you're doing clothes that are meant for kids or for outerwear or for hiking or something like that, then you want fabrics that are strong and durable. And kids will be sitting down in the sandbox, right? And they will be sliding down on rocks and they are just everywhere. So the garments need to be very durable, especially on the seat and on the knees and at the bottom of the pants. Okay, so then you will look for fabrics that have very high abrasion strength, meaning they've been tested with sandpaper on the machine going round and round and round and seeing how many rounds they can take before there's a hole in the garment. So you want fabrics that are durable and have high abrasion strength. And you may look for fabrics that are waterproof or windproof or very breathable. And sometimes that can be very contradicting, because if you want a fabric with very high breathability, it may not be as waterproof as you want. So you may need to do compromise. Or if you want a fabric that does everything you want, it's probably going to cost more money than your boss wants you to spend on fabric. So compromise. But that's part of designing. That's part of working as a fashion designer. You need to find a way to compromise and do the best that you can do for the customers. Okay? So designing bestsellers is all about designing what your customers will want next year. What do they want? What are they so sick of seeing? What are they looking for? What are they watching on TV? What movies are they watching? What are they seeing on TikTok or YouTube? What are they craving? What are they happy with from this season? And what are they not so happy with? What do they hate about this season's garments? And what can you do differently next year? So take all of that in, talk to the customers, talk to the people in stores, do your trend research or watch this video on how to spot trends, and really try to create the garments that your customers are longing for. Okay? It may be using a different fabric. It may be choosing a different color. It may be working on the fit of the garment. Maybe they really love those pants, but there's something wrong with the seat, or the waist is just a little bit too tight. Maybe you can just change it a little bit. Maybe use a different zipper opening. Maybe choose, I don't know, maybe use a different pocket opening. Maybe use zippers instead of Velcro or buttons, or, maybe you tweak something to make it better and to make it sell more. Okay? So that's my advice for today. I hope you liked it. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel, and I will keep sharing all of my secrets with you. So have a beautiful day. Can't wait to see you again.